She's around.
So then I'll go to number 3, are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Addition, Your Worship?
Yes.
All staff meeting for April 18th for discussion and support from council.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
You bet. We're requesting a closure of the office for an all-staff meeting.
Okay. Sure. Where do you want to put that one under?
Probably, it will be new business 8.2.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Can I get a motion to accept that agenda with that change?
I'll make a motion to present the change.
Thanks, all in favor? That is carried. Item number 4, adoption of previous minutes. Are there any errors of mention? I have one. If you go to page 5, I just want to make a note. Is it page 5? Sorry, page 7. On the motion to accept legal after the in camera, and Corey, I believe you voted against that, and we should be making note of that, right?
It wasn't explicitly recorded vote, but either way.
No, but
Either way.
according to our meeting thing, there's some.
Either way, yeah, whatever.
So if we can make that one. Good. Does anybody have any other? No, then I got a motion to accept the previous minutes for the regular meeting and then all.
I'll move to accept those minutes.
Thank you. All in favor? And that is carried. So, going to the delegation. 6.1, Tim McBride is not here.
He's on Zoom.
Oh, he's on Zoom.
Yeah, you just can't see him because the TVs won't work, but.
Okay, can we hear him or anything, or?
Yeah, Tim, if you talk and maybe can you just.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, perfect.
Good evening.
Thanks, Tim. So, we've had quite a few, emails and texts and stuff like that, and I'm just wondering if maybe you could, give us a little bit of advice as to, what's happening there, or tell us what we should be doing.
Yeah, so
Class on time?
oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, guys, I'm being interrupted. I'm like I said, I told Donna this morning that I had some scheduling conflicts, and so I'm just that's why I'm on Zoom right now. My other thing just tried to interrupt me. Okay, so the texts and emails, the question there, yeah. So Donna had indicated that there were some concerns about both text messages and emails coming in to your guys' personal phones and your Town of Thorsby emails that were impersonating other council members, particularly I think Mr. Mayor being impersonated and asking for certain actions. The reality is that that type of impersonation attack, that type of cybersecurity event, is pretty standard practice for threat actors trying to gain access to business email or trying to get people in positions of power to do something that they shouldn't do. We call it an impersonation attack, and like I said, it's pretty standard practice. It's very common. Every business and organization that I have worked with that has any kind of public-facing communication platform, meaning emails that are published on business cards, websites, anywhere like that, cell phone numbers, it's going to be just a fact of life. Threat actors are scanning for that publicly available information and using that to try to impersonate those people with other individuals in the organization, typically for monetary gain, right? Attempting to get you to possibly send them gift card information, provide access to accounts and things like that. So that's the attack method. That's what's going on. As far as what can be done, in the email side of things, there is some advanced filtering that can be deployed at an additional cost. Of course, all licenses for software and things like that always come at a cost, but there are layers that we can add for impersonation detection, and those types of things. And we can discuss that. I can provide Donna with pricing and quotes on that if that is something you want to pursue. When it comes to SMS, text messages, and those types of things hitting your cell phones, unfortunately, the SMS network, those types of text messages, those are outside of the purview of any kind of filtering beyond what your cell phone itself provides. A lot of cell phone manufacturers, I know Android, and also and Apple devices, they do have the ability built in to filter text messages that they detect as spam. Impersonation, I can speak tonight, type messages, because they don't contain links, a lot of times they don't have a lot of content that flags those types of spam filters. So the only real protection that you can have for yourself is to make sure that you have all of the key individuals that you would interact with. So essentially everybody in this room, the types of people that somebody would try to impersonate to trick you. If you have those individuals saved into your phone as contacts, then if you get a text message from somebody saying, hey, this is Daryl, I need you to do this thing, and it's not from a contact in your phone named Daryl, you know that it's somebody impersonating him, as an example. That is the best way to protect yourself, is to actually name known people instead of just relying on the phone number and that type of history. Beyond that, unfortunately, like I said, it's the nature of the cybersecurity world we're in. There's not a lot more that can be done.
Okay. Questions? Anybody have any questions or comments? I think you explained it very good, Tim. Thank you. And I think, like I said, if you want to get a hold of Donna there and give us some, if there's some other things we can do, other protection, we will explore that. But other than that, I guess you just have to be smarter than the average bear when it comes to these things. And if somebody's trying to get some information, then you just have to ignore it.
Mr. Mayor, I think it's important that when you get it, delete it right away. Don't share it, don't do anything, because you just don't know. And none of us have council cell phones, right? So you don't want your own phone destroyed, really. And a lot of times they can do that. So when Tim and I had a chat about it, the best advice is you're unsure, delete right away.
Block.
Block, 100%.
Don't respond.
Nope, don't respond. Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time there, Tim.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tim.
All right. Okay, yeah. So that's what we will do. All right, moving on to Chamber of Commerce. We have a delegation here. Shauna, you want to come forward and start this thing rolling here?
My chair forward, or what
You
down?
just, no, you can sit with me.
I can just sit right where I am? Or what, or do
Yeah,
you
no,
want
if
me
you
to-
like, or if you want to come up and pull right up here, Sean, I'll make room for you. That's probably easier. 2 seconds. You got some.
Oh, I don't even need, I need my
Okay.
glasses.
Fair enough.
I got a thing here.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you. So we have a few things to go over. It's been a long time. Been a challenge trying to get to these meetings when we have so many of our own stuff going on. But, so anyways, I guess we'll start with, the first thing, because we're so busy, we actually have been in talk with the Leduc Chamber and District Chamber of Commerce, and we are working on a proposal to work to, like, we're gonna work with them. Amalgamate, yes. And they have had, they have a lot of, there's lots of great things. They're basically gonna take over the administration, but we still have our own, we can still do our own events, we'll still have our own bank account, we'll still be able to do a lot of things, but they'll, for a certain, obviously for a cost, but they help recoup those costs too. They now have obviously Wetaskiwin, they have Devon, they have Pigeon Lake, they have Rimbey. I think they're working with the Buck Lake area, like we're surrounded. Pinoka, yeah, there's another one. We're surrounded, so basically, it just makes sense, because basically it's like I'm running a second business. I don't have time to do the fun stuff, which is the projects and the events. So we're working on making a change, and hopefully sooner than later, but we're just waiting now. It's on them. It takes time to come up with a proposal. So that's the beginning of what's happening with the chamber. May long weekend's coming up, so we're still doing the ball tournament and beer gardens, and we've been in touch with Kelly. Kelly's the point of contact for everything, and so if anybody talks to me, I always am sending them to Kelly. Historical Society is also doing their cornhole tournament, meatball supper, indoor beer gardens at 50/50. And the town now is doing the parade, which is, thank you, I appreciate that. And then we're going to split Kelly and I discussed, and our chamber agreed that we'll split the advertising costs, because it's nice to have everything as a group with everybody, so that the chamber and the town will split the cost. So. And any questions about May long weekend?
No, I don't think so. One thing I asked, we talked about earlier today, and I'm going to bring it up right now, is 75th anniversary for the town. So,
Do you want me to explain it?
Go right ahead.
Okay. So we had a discussion today about the actual date of the anniversary is December 31st. So technically, we haven't hit 75 years yet. We are in our 75th year. So do you want to celebrate before you hit 75 years, or do you want to celebrate after you hit 75 years? Because technically, you're not 75 yet. And you're closer to 74 than you are to 75.
Thorsby was incorporated in December 31st,
1949.
And I was actually going to bring some of this up, because I found this newspaper today, the 50th anniversary.
We looked at that, but that was of when they became a hamlet.
Yes. So anyways, so it was, 50 years ago. So we kind of 95, but kind of 75.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, this is probably going to come up. So, does that mean we wait another year, or we?
So my thing too, and I just said this, and I know this isn't going to happen, but I said, so if something happened and the county came and took us over on December 30th, we never officially hit 75 years. So, so I don't know if you want to wait till next year, because you're technically not 75 until December 31st.
Why is the county taking us over?
They're not. But that's just like I just said. They don't want us. But if something happened and you didn't make 75 years, like you're technically not 75 yet. So we had a nice, Andrew and I had a nice discussion.
And there hasn't been much advertising or momentum with it really anyway, so it
No, we've been planning, but we haven't done
Yeah.
anything, so it's just, it was something to just bring up and discuss.
Well, before we make, we've told some people, I know I invited, I was talking to MP Andrew Butchenko the other day, and I asked him if he was going to be around. So I did tell him.
He'll come anyway.
Yeah, he'll come anyway. It's what everybody's wish. What do you want to do? Go ahead, it's back.
Could we not put on the advertising that we're celebrating Thorsby's 75th year and put into any kind of media December 31st, right? Like cover both, because we are in the 75th year, so it's not like we're doing it in the 72nd year,
Yeah.
you know? But as long as I think we included the official date in anything, it kind of takes away any question. I mean, as far as, we could do coulda, shoulda,
Yeah.
what ifs, right?
I mean, it really makes no difference.
I just think, I mean, 1949 is the date, okay, and now when you say December, whatever, like exactly what you're saying, to me, I think that we should celebrate it this year.
Yeah, and we did look at like Leduc, and they didn't celebrate of their incorporation, they started celebrating of when they became a city now, so they had what, 25, right, 25 years? No, not from being a city. God, they didn't become a city before I was born, Jesse. But theirs is like in September, so they're able to celebrate it on their date, I mean, unless you want to have a New Year's
I
party.
mean,
but-
we're just, you know, Jesse's done quite a little bit of work there, checking things out and stuff like that, and, you know, we're at the point where we're just gonna start sending out some invitations and stuff like that, and, you know, our actual plan was to, and we discussed it as a council, was to have the parade, and then the parade likely would be done, say, 1 o'clock, and 1:30, everybody would be coming over to the complex. We're gonna have a cake there, and coffee, and refreshments, and then, just, invite a bunch of dignitaries. We're not gonna have too much of an official ceremony, but we acknowledge everybody's there, and if they wanted to say something for a couple minutes, that would be about the end of it. So that was our pretty much plan for this part, yeah.
I agree with Carrie, and I think if we're in our 75th year, May is probably more conducive to having a get-together and party than December 31st. But I know Warburg did a December 31st function that was really successful.
Yeah.
But unless we're going to engage in that, we may as well just do it on the May long weekend like we spoke about.
Yeah, my idea was, and you know, and I thought that we would put a float in for the town as a kind of a mayor float, and I was gonna acknowledge all the mayors that are hanging on the wall there with their name, and 75, and I thought we would be kind of the start of the parade, and then everybody follow, and we've got some other, we're looking at, we might have a marching band coming. The U of A has made interest that they're gonna come. So it might be a very good parade, and I think, you know, I think we should go ahead.
Yeah, and then,
Nothing.
no,
Next to nothing.
okay.
Oh, so my question was, where are we doing the cake stuff? And,
Complex.
At the complex.
okay.
We would set up some chairs and.
I think we might do it outside though, just because the inside's so small, and if they're gonna speak, then they're only gonna be able to speak to like 100 people, if that'll fit in the.
As long as the weather permits.
Yeah, well, if the weather's crappy, it's all inside, so. Yeah.
How will that work with the baseball tournament and all of that kind of stuff?
There's a DJ there
There's
already.
tons, yeah, the DJ's there, I think if we make it work, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
We'll,
well, the DJ can provide the sound.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the DJ's gonna provide the sound.
And we can pause the music for anything official, that's not an issue.
yeah, and the baseball games will go whether, they'll just keep doing their thing, and whoever's,
Yeah, and everybody will be able to hear, because everybody will be there outside, so, yeah.
yeah, and then maybe if we can talk and we can get all the advertising together, because we might as well incorporate the stuff, like, it's all in the same thing, so, yeah. There we go.
Sorry to get sidetracked, but I just.
No way, might as well get it out now.
It just came up today, we were talking about it, and we were like, well, it is like the end of the year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, I get it, yeah.
All right, okay,
Sounds good.
perfect, well, there we go, that's for the May, and so good, so, continue, go ahead there, Sean.
Okay, I guess there's also a few other things that we will have to talk about. I was gonna do Spirit Authority first, but I'll do Taylor Park first, and then we'll do Spirit Authority after that, because it kind of rolls into it. So we've just had some, I'm gonna read because I forget everything, so I'm gonna read this. We've had some misunderstandings and communication gaps, so we think it's time to make our expectation and roles clear and make sure we're on the same page moving forward. First of all, council administration has to understand you are working with a capable group of business owners and representatives who have the best interests of our community in mind. We understand the business aspect as well as community needs and wants. We are also not employees, we're volunteers. We want to support the transformation of our community into a well-maintained space, starting with the downtown core. And so a little background, we asked for the MOA in the fall so we could develop Taylor Park into a nice green space for our local residents and community, a place to hold events and also attract tourists who will support our local economy. We know the town of Thorsby had discussed some work they wanted to do before our MOA with Carol, our mental health animator, and use some grant money to purchase bricks, a rock, etc. But the project needed an organization with more volunteers, a larger group to participate in the decision-making, and volunteers to raise money to really get things done. Discussion at one of the chamber meetings about bringing a statue of Thor to Thorsby, and realizing that Taylor Park was the best space for this was what inspired the chamber to approach the town to take over the development of our park. Our animator, Carol, would attend the chamber meetings as a non-voting member, but welcome to give input in the park's development. Our understanding was that Taylor Park development project was to be fundraised, designed, and implemented by the volunteers of the Chamber of Commerce. We would keep the town informed as the project progressed, and if there were any major issues, the town would let us know. What must not have been clear is that none of the plans to date except for the statue and the relocating of the tree, were set in stone. Other parts of the project will be completed as we fundraise and apply/receive grants. We had already discussed both the statue and tree in the fall and during our MOA discussions, and there was no issues that we were aware of. Up until our last meeting on March 21st, we have had nothing new to report. We're still continuing to look for grants and raise money, so improvements will only be done as we have the finances to do so. The linden tree. Apparently, the donator of the tree, Ivor Foster, a previous councillor of the town of Thorsby, does not want the tree moved. This tree was donated to the town of Thorsby and planted before the last election. We were not aware that he had a say until we received an email from Donna on March 20th responding to my email about any environmental issues we should be concerned about, and if we could have a copy of the report. Donna's email said, again, though I cannot support the moving of the tree without you discussing it with Ivor, and I know the council has expressed concern. He bought and paid for the tree, so with his say, the tree has to stay in place. According to Google, the definition of a donation is, number 1, the making of a charitable gift, and number 2, a voluntary transfer of ownership of the property from one person to another. This means the tree is now the property of the town of Thorsby, and they are responsible for the tree. On September 22nd, I emailed Dawn letting her know that we signed the MOA and it would be ready for her to take to council. It also said, Taylor Park, everyone is in favor and accepts the conceptual design I made. We're hoping to get the tree moved and perennial garden borders in before winter. I've attached the design, but if it's hard to read, I can drop off a printed copy. My memory can be short, but I do remember passing discussions that Ivor wasn't happy about moving the tree. The chamber was never officially contacted directly by the town saying we could not move it. Had there been some communication issues with the tree? Had there not been some communication issues with the tree mover in the fall, the tree would have actually already been moved to the new location. Due to this concern brought up by the town and Ivor, it has given us an opportunity to research this type of tree, and we will actually be proposing the tree to be relocated to another site in the town of Thorsby that is more suitable for a 70-foot tree with a 40-foot canopy. Taylor Park itself is only 58 feet wide. We will have to find out exactly what type of linden tree was planted because varieties have a canopy range of 18 to 45 feet, but we are concerned when this tree grows up, the challenges and expenses with the size may be too much and it will get cut down anyway. We're trying to make this park as low maintenance as possible, but it may require professional trimmers and tons of work raking leaves to keep it in the park. We are also concerned about the leaves getting into the town drainage. In its current location, it would be a huge issue, but even if we moved it to the back, the wind would take the leaves into the street. We have a professional tree mover for the spring to move it where you want, but we only want to do it once. Depending on the type of linden, maybe the town wants to donate the tree back to Ivor or use it at the entrance of town behind the sign as a nice green background. The moving of the linden tree is key to our project and developing the park, and without moving it, our plans cannot move forward. There is no other logical location for the statue. This once-in-a-lifetime opportunity worth approximately $80,000. Well, yes, it could be more, and needs to be front and center. We hope that council considers the community needs and potential when making a decision. The statue of Thor. I'll just keep going and then we'll talk about it all after. Statue of Thor. We have been receiving emails and Donna has been talking to Matt about trademark concerns. We have tried to assure her that there is nothing to be concerned about sheets provided, but it's gone on deaf ears. If the town wants to continue to pursue this, then an option could be to have the town authority get their lawyers to send us a contract so the chamber can be responsible if anything does happen. Yeah, I have a sheet and we can go over the sheet after. We will not waste our money on unnecessarily legal fees. We're using fundraised money from the community and hundreds of volunteer hours. Even if for some unknown reason Marvell or Disney wanted to come after Thorsby and the Thor statue, the worst that could happen is they would give us cease and desist, and the statue could be moved to a personal property out of town at our expense. The statue has already been started because there were no issues when we discussed it in the fall, and it is slated to be delivered before September 7th. For the record, nobody can own the rights because the mythical Norse god that's under King Thor. Mental health ground, I don't really have to say, if you want to read that, you can. Basically, we didn't get it. So we're going to be talking to the mental health representative. We had applied for $20,000 and, or sorry, $25,000 and didn't get it, and it was disheartening, but we will be basically done. Anyway, so we're still needing more, still look for more money. Moving forward, right now our main focus this spring is to move the tree, get the landscaping done, and pour concrete and make the base for the statue. Can we raise more money or get a grant? This is all we have the funds for. We're considering taking down the mural wall and moving it to the back of the property, but not all the way across, leaving space to get in and out, more just in the middle. Our group will have to discuss and make decisions before we start landscaping, so we can dig out or cover the piles. I contacted Country Cannabis, and he has no issues with anything we do at the park as long as we don't build something near the property line that could be used to get into his yard. I've spoken with Guardian Drugs in the past, and they're very supportive as well. They've been given permission to remove the fence on their property that is near the sidewalk and in terrible shape. Spoke with Grant at GNN in the past as well, and we will be talking to them very soon again to go over plans, make sure they're still okay with everything. To avoid further miscommunication and confusion in the future, I prefer administration and contact, ask preferably by email or letter, so I have a record, my memory's so bad, before researching and discussing plans about the park with other businesses or organizations. We are the ones raising the money, implementing what is happening, and all decisions are discussed with the chamber board. There are already 9 board members, and if we get too many involved, it causes miscommunication and nobody knows who to talk to. It is also impossible to make decisions. As long as council agrees to us moving the tree and starting landscaping, we will move forward this spring. We will then work on getting items on the proposal complete as we raise money for them. In order to make less work for everyone, we will send you an update after meetings so you can always have the latest plans. We are volunteers and don't have time to attend a lot of extra meetings, so please let us know ASAP if there are any other issues with our project or design. Remember, we are all volunteers in doing this for our community. So,
I just have a question. Like, Tracy is on the chamber.
yes.
Like, we don't really get a lot back though, do we, on the chamber stuff?
I give you updates on what was on the agenda. It's not a whole lot that I report on.
Okay. So I've given, there's, I guess we'll start with the tree, updated, proposal, and I've actually done this, if those circles on the proposal of the park, that's how big 40 feet is, so you know, if the tree were that stated. And it would definitely be over top of the side. And again, I don't know what type of trees, they vary, like exactly what linden tree it is, because I did a lot of research and there's so many, so I can't tell, I'm not a.
Okay, so really regarding Taylor Park, there's 3 issues: the statue, the tree,
Yeah.
and the grant's ancient history.
No, the grant doesn't really, no, and that was.
Nothing you can do about it?
There's nothing we can do, it's done. Yeah, we're gonna talk ourselves, we're gonna actually.
Yeah, that's gonna be my suggestion to you.
Yeah, no, so that's why I didn't even go over it. I just kind of gave you a little background on what had happened, because it was something that we did together, like we did as in, Carol and Donna, so.
Andrew, go ahead.
I just wanted, the linden tree, from what I got told when it was delivered, that it was the smaller version of the linden tree, so it's still got a canopy on it.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be the
Smaller version of it? Okay. Yeah, I don't know, there's like, well, I found, in this area now, I found 5 different types, so
yeah.
I don't, again, so it just depends on what it is. So I don't know what, like, basically, we might as well rip up the MOA right now if we can't move that tree, because basically, this beautiful statue that we have being built is, that's front and center. We don't want, like, we're getting rid of that fence too, so it doesn't look good. We're even getting rid of the archway, so when you drive by, we're going to reuse it somewhere else, but when you drive by, that's what you see, is this gorgeous statue of, and if you see on the back, it was just perfect, I was reading it today, on my final page, I found something from The homecoming, July 11th, 1979, and it's got a story, The Legend of Thor, a part of our history, and it's about Thorsby. It's also how Thorsby received its name, so I thought it was perfect. So some of this stuff I'd like to incorporate in little areas in the park to show. So, anyway, and again, had we realized it was that big of an issue, we would have stopped it a lot. Like I said, the tree was already even moved, but there were some issues.
Right.
So, are we allowed to move forward with this?
Okay, well, have we got any comment from anybody in the council here that wanna? Yeah, Corey, go ahead.
That when we accept a donation, there is an obligation to meet the expectation of what the item being donated is for. We can't just arbitrarily do what we want just because, yes, it is the town's property now. We accept a donation, we have to honor the donation, whether it's a tree or a bench or money for a park or whatever the donation is. If we accept it, there is an inherent obligation. We can't just be arbitrary.
Yeah. Sorry.
I agree with Corey, but I don't think moving the tree is anybody's decision but the town's decision. If we're still taking care of the tree, I don't think it should be that big of a deal, but that's just my opinion.
And it's a matter of feet, it's not to a whole different district, that it would be.
No, they want to move.
Oh, no, and you know what, we can put it in the back, we'll put it at the back, if that's what it takes, if they don't want it to leave the park, fine, we'll put it where in the area that we had said. It won't cover the entire park then, it's a little park, all of it was gonna be in a few years was trees. So, anyway.
I personally, I mean, Irene's here, and personally, I think that, maybe we need to talk with the family, with Irene, and come up with a solution. If they don't want it moved, then, that's the way it is. If they decide we can move it someplace else, I don't think it's, Corey, I agree, like what you're saying there, Corey, but things aren't in stone. And if they can go ahead and agree with themselves to do something else, let's try and work something out.
But I'm saying that, okay, and you can, but I'm saying if this doesn't happen, we might as well just rip up the MOA tonight.
Oh, yeah, no,
So, I mean,
let's not get to that stage yet. Let's just try and work this thing out.
We plan on doing things once the ground.
Matt, and you guys have something to say at the back there?
Yeah, well, I just think that if that information is gonna be considered, we need all the information. The purpose of the Thor statue is to bring tourism to the main street of Thorsby, right? As business owners, that puts us in tourism Alberta with the Pasenka, with the big giant Ukrainian ring, with the...
Yeah, I don't think anybody's arguing about that at all.
No, but if the family is considering this, I just feel that the family needs all of the information. We're not just doing it for the heck of it, that's all.
Absolutely not. But, we've got, Matt, you had something to
My
add to that?
question is just, is this gonna be to anybody that donates anything? So if I donate lumber for the benches down the boulevard, and you guys are gonna come to me to ask me if I'm okay with taking those up. If I donate lumber for the ball diamond, I'm gonna be considered if those need to be painted blue, because that's what you want, I'll be considered. Or my fence that I donated in Taylor Park getting moved, I'll be considered. That's all, as far as I'm concerned, I've donated this stuff. Do it with, if you want to cut it out and throw it in the fire at Christmas in the Village, give her. That's the way I see it. I did it.
Corey, go ahead.
I'm not looking.
And then I take Matt's point, but at the same time, there is an inherent obligation when you accept a donation, and if the donor doesn't have a preference, then that's the case. If the donor does have a strong opinion, though, that is equally the case. Frankly, I think as a municipality, we are very negligent in not having a proper donation policy. We should have a coherent, very, very detailed policy that determines what we accept, what we won't accept, and if we accept a donation, under what terms we will accept a donation. Lacking that, we have an obligation, though, to not just be arbitrary.
Yeah, so I just, I want to point out, I want everybody to be respectful here, and you are, so don't get me the wrong idea here, but, Ira can't be here, he's got obviously some medical issues. Irene is here, have you got anything to say about this, Irene?
All I know is that it wasn't just Ira that donated that tree, it was also Nathan Raymond. He donated that too. And Ira particularly was very, very involved in it, and he went out when it was first planted twice a day with 2 pails of water for that tree to keep it keep it growing. He's very proud of it, and he would hate it to go elsewhere. But if that depends on what the council wants, or the town wants, you'd have to discuss that with Ivor. I can't tell you exactly what he would like. All that I know, he's very, very proud of having that tree there. And they go around saying it's going to be a 40-foot span. No way. It's going to be a small one, a maximum of 18 foot.
Is that what, okay, so do you have what's the kind of type, if you can get that for us, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
But, just to go ahead and do things without even asking him, or not asking him, but letting him know what is going on.
All right, well, thank you very much for that. I know it's difficult to talk about that, and, you know, like I say, once again, I want everybody respectful. At the back there, one more question, go ahead.
But, is within the park then still a consideration, I mean?
Yes, I mean, he's willing to discuss any option.
Fantastic.
Just don't go around saying that you're gonna do this and to hell with you.
Yeah.
That was never said.
Yeah, we never had, the 20th was the first that we had any.
Okay. So we were not involved with the park when it was donated. We had nothing to do with it. We only found out later on that there was issues after we had already done our proposal
I didn't know
and
about
stuff.
myself.
I didn't know who donated. There was no plaque to say who's donated anything, so we had no idea. So we're trying to override anybody, but again, it's the town of Thorsby's park, so it was, and in my opinion, when you donate something, it is a donation, and whatever happens to it, happens to it. But that, again,
Well, this is
yeah.
an opinion, but it's a park, should be some shade somewhere.
Yeah.
Move it, but if you need to, but keep some shade in the park.
Yes. And if it's the 18-foot one, it's okay putting it in the back. It's just the 40-foot one would be like ridiculous. I just don't know what kind it was, and everything I Googled at first was like 40 feet, 70, 80 feet high, I'm like, holy crap, for this little tiny park.
Well, it's like planting an oak tree, you know, when you start an oak tree, it's just a little oak, by the time you finish, it's pretty big. But, Shelley, go ahead.
I was just thinking about donations, and was Taylor Park not donated to us? And do we have to talk to that donator about everything we do in the park?
Exactly. And if you had to talk to every single person that donated something, you'd be talking the entire community. We have donated tons. Everybody in this room has donated tons. Communities in bloom. It's just doesn't make sense to me, and maybe this is something you guys should talk to your lawyers about then, because.
Well, I think, you know, I don't want to be rash about this thing and everything. I think it needs a little bit more discussion, and I think I'd like to, you know, meet with Irene and see, Donna, what do you think about this whole thing?
Well, let's put some context to this. First of all, when we talked about the tree, Sean and I had a very good conversation thinking it's going to be too big and it should probably move to the back of the lot. That is totally factual. But I also mentioned to Carol a while ago with the grant to say, let's talk to Ivor. Talk to Ivor because that was part of the grant. So, and we've run into issues here before when we wanted to move the benches away from the front of town office. I phoned the bench donators there because we wanted to put them in the boulevard and got absolutely told, don't you dare. You're not touching our memorial benches. So,
After 10 years, they have no say. Just so you know, I've actually talked to somebody in Drayton who just went through this. There was part of the
No, I
Drayton.
understand that, Shona, but it's a respect thing.
No, I get that, yeah.
We're a small town. So the movement of the tree was to talk to Ivor. Now, I didn't know Ivor owned the tree until he caught me in the parking lot one day. So this isn't any kind of conspiracy theory that I've known
Oh,
for
I never
years.
thought it was.
No, I don't say that. I wanted to make sure that it was done. And then Ivor and I talked in the parking lot that, in fact, just after you talked, I think, Sean, and you went back to the office, he caught me in the Guardian Drugs parking lot.
Okay.
So, which is fine. So all my concern was on that is just talk to Ivor and have a conversation with him, that's all.
So,
No more than that.
Carol, she mentioned something, but again, she's not on the chamber board, so you should have
No,
talked to me.
No, but Shauna, we were talking about the grant as well, too, because
Yes.
some of that was in the grant.
Yes.
So I meant, no offense to you, Carol, I'm not not throwing you under the bus. I just mentioned it to Carol, and that was it.
Mhm,
There's
mhm.
nothing more than that. It's a small town. We've all grown up in a small town, and we all know people donate things and want to be, respected for that. That's all it is.
No, I get it. And we, like I said, we weren't trying to, we're just trying to move
Okay,
it.
one more question in back there, and I'm gonna.
I would just like to ask that on behalf of the chamber, as the vice president, Irene, would you be willing to sit down, you and Ivor, with myself and maybe one other member to have this discussion? Since we are the ones that are taking on the initiative to do the park.
Yeah,
So if we could talk afterwards and schedule that, I would be happy to sit down with you and we could have a discussion.
okay.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thanks. And Corey, I think you had a great idea. I think we need to have a policy on this. I hate to say it,
No,
but.
that's on our radar.
We just did a really decent one for LRHF that we need to prove the
Not
shop.
that he donated, I mean, there's tons of other people that have donated stuff as well, and, Donna, I guess maybe that's something that we need to develop, and then we can bring it back, and so, but, you know, I don't think, as a council right now, for us to make a decision on this, I think is the wrong thing to do, because, I think that we have to, you know, try and honor the wishes there, and then if we can't, then bring it back here, and I know you're in a hurry to get this going.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, we still have, the ground's still frozen. It's not a big deal. My issue is like, then like our project is basically, I'm not even gonna bother applying for grants right now, like it's done then. And this, we have this statue that is being built that we're gonna now have to find another location for. And this could bring a lot of people and traffic, and and so it's just very disheartening
I
for
hope
me.
I hope we can
I hope we
reconcile
can
and come
too.
up with this.
And I
I don't
apologize.
know, what does the rest of the council, anybody have any other comments? Who's first? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as chamber liaison, Carrie, if you want me to join you to come see Ivor and Irene, I will join you.
That'd be great.
Sorry?
I think that, yes, it's lacking a policy. Discussions with interested parties has to happen before council can
I
make a
agree,
decision.
and that's my point, so I don't wanna make a decision here and then, well, on what basis, just because of personal things or whatever, right? So, Shelley?
I just want to thank the chamber for thinking of this idea. I think it's great. We need our Main Street revitalized because it used to be way busier on that Main Street. It'd be nice to bring traffic into town. You guys are volunteers. I think it's great.
Mr. Mayor, I know I'm new to the meeting, so I just have a quick question.
Yep.
If the four of us sit down and have this discussion and come to some sort of agreement, do we have to wait till the next meeting, or can that be done via email report?
You can do it anytime you want, right?
Council can't make a decision without there being a meeting. So if council needs to approve anything, it cannot happen through email, it has to happen at a meeting.
But do we have to approve that?
That's right, so, but I mean, you guys can sit down anytime, but we can't make a decision until we have our next meeting, which would be at the end of, April.
Do we need to make a decision on that, though?
You're kind of saying.
Well, if they resolve it, it's
I think if
not up to
they
us.
resolve it,
Yeah,
yeah, we're
yeah.
asking if you resolve it.
Like, it's amongst you guys.
Yeah, see what on?
I would suggest that, as a suggestion that, if the parties that get together and resolve it, they can bring it back to myself at my desk, we can have a conversation about it, we can determine through your decision if we need to bring it back to council as a ratification. Administration is not stopping the process of this, where I'm just looking at, not stopping the, outcome of this. I'm just thinking process as far as council. If council wishes to make a decision, then we bring it back to council, be the end of April, once the community has worked that through and worked with Irene and Ivor to determine a logical space. That would be that protocol if council wants to make a decision on the park. If council wishes to move the decision between administration and the MOA with the chamber, after the chamber has discussed it with the donators, then that would be a resolution you would give administration.
Correct. Matt, did you have anything else?
No.
Good.
We just have the Spirit Authority event to talk about quickly.
Oh, absolutely, no.
Okay, then I do have a question
Yeah.
before you move on from the Thor
Yeah.
statute.
Yeah.
There were some concerns about the trademarking. Is
Oh, yeah, we
that cleared
talked about
up
that
with
last night.
the information you've seen, or
Did
is
you
there
see my
still
little
some?
sheet?
I know there was some worry that if Thor is trademarked by Marvel, that's not the case. Marvel trademarked the Mighty Thor, and in order to make that happen, they had to call him that. So nobody actually owns the rights to Thor himself in any form. Actually, Thor came before copyright was even a thing.
And
Okay.
Yes, nobody owns the copyright to the mythical character of Thor, but the likeness, if it looks like,
Yeah, but we had no.
but we haven't seen what it looks like.
Yeah, well, in my drawings, he looks like this, which is the mythical god of Thor.
That's what he's going to look like exactly?
No, but we will give you again.
Like, that's what we need to see, because if it looks like,
We know that.
if the hammer looks like Thor's hammer from Disney, they will come after you.
And they won't.
They will. They
So
have
I have
people
right
that
here,
do
if I
this.
could. So here's Disney suing 3 daycares because of a likeness of a mouse that they thought was too
Where are you
similar.
finding this? 'Cause I was Googling all over the
Here's
place.
Disney suing a company that was printing shirts that had a castle that they thought was too similar in aesthetic.
So guess what?
Galaxy
We are willing to, if this happens, though, we'll just move the statue, because all they're gonna do is ask you to move it. They're not
Except
gonna,
for they get $190,000 because there's a castle that looks similar on a t-shirt.
and we can't just move it?
No, they will
They,
sue
whatever
you.
the court decides, but I don't want to
Okay,
subject
well,
the
you
town to
guys
that liability.
figure it out, but we don't have the funds to
Okay,
hire lawyers and do
I
it.
think, Theodora, you've had some legal advice for us.
Oh, good.
Do you mind just telling us what you think we should do?
Our legal counsel has asked us, and Cindy is right, to, once we get a picture of Thor, once you get a picture of Thor, we have to have it looked at by a licensing lawyer to make sure that there is no issues. That doesn't take forever. Doesn't take forever, because if there is, Cindy is right, and we have to look at the court cases where Disney and everybody's suing. That's where we get our information. And there's case precedent to this. We want to protect you. That's what this is all about. And we don't even have enough money if they sue us. Believe me. So we want to protect you, we want to make the process go smoothly and quickly. All we're asking for is a likeness.
We're not against it.
No.
No, and I get that, it's just that
I should have brought pictures. He's also an artist, he doesn't want to show progress pictures, he wants to unveil this. And I mean, if his
I see what
company's
you're
called
saying.
Majestic
Well,
Metal Art, you can check it out, he's done these for universities.
No, and I
all sorts of stuff.
understand that, Matt, but it's like, we're here, we have to protect the town of
Right.
Thorsby.
Uh,
And Disney they will sue you.
It's like, I don't think you guys understand how honestly petty Disney is. Like, here's them suing an elementary school. They spent tens of thousands of dollars on legal fees to sue a school for a $250 licensing fee because they didn't get a license before screening a Disney movie in a classroom.
I go back to the start of Taylor Park, and I'm not putting any blame in anything, but, you know, it cost the town $80,000 because of those tanks. And that's all Donna's trying to do right now, is trying, and what everybody's talking about is we're just trying to make sure that there's no liability for anybody. We're not against it by any means.
We're not.
But we have to protect, and Matt, I agree with you saying 100%. So I think going back to Donna again, I think what you're looking at is we just need a letter or something to go to them, or something, Matt, can you?
Your worship, if Matt, if your dad needs that likeness protected, we could do that. We can protect that so it doesn't get out, but we do have to have something.
Yeah, like, basically, he's made a moose, he made 5 wolves, basically prints pictures, puts them all over the wall, takes this pose, that pose, puts it together, makes his own. That's what he's doing with this.
Right.
There's no picture to show. He started with the face to make sure it looks like it.
he doesn't know till he's done.
Right, so
We won't know until
he showed me this
before,
is
and then
the
what if
pose I want to do, this is what I want, you know, his arm to look like. I mean, this statue is being made. Now, the issue is that it's on town property. I'll take it to my store, it's coming, whether we want it here or not.
No,
It's going somewhere.
That's not, we understand. We understand.
I mean,
that.
this is an $80,000 statue that we're getting for shipping.
Correct.
Okay.
Absolutely,
Just
and
making sure we
you know, it's a different world out there right now. Everybody knows that by now, that people will go to great extremes there to try to get.
If Disney did not have, and Marvel did not have a Thor character, this wouldn't even be an issue. But they have deeper pockets than any of us, all of us put together.
So Disney also has the Santa Claus. If we did a statue of Santa, we'd have to go to them? No. Every church in town has a Jesus on the front. Like, it's pre-existing stuff. It's, yeah, sorry.
I just, you know, like I said, I mean, we've had our legal advice as well, and that's,
Well, we have the Spirit Authority, and let's talk, do you
Yeah,
want to?
go
So at
ahead.
the end of the day, if Matt's dad is able to provide pictures of the likenesses that he is using for inspiration, because none of them are the source from Disney. We've seen them. Is that going to be sufficient?
Depends on what your lawyer says.
Yeah, it would need to be,
We're not
it would
getting
need to be a
there.
representation of what the finished product is, not what the inspiration is. What the finished product is the relevant concern, not what the inspiration was.
Well,
So have the hammer look like a capital T for Thor. Put
Well,
on a nice
so-
tattoo of metal art or whatever it is, and alter the likeness.
so the Spirit Authority event may not even happen, so I don't need to even bother talking about it unless you want to talk about the fair just in case. Because basically, the Spirit Authority event was revolved around this whole thing, so, and it's unfortunate that this is happening, and I understand, kind of, but I don't like the way the world is right now. And, this was never a problem in years, right, so it's just unfortunate, and,
It's the way the world is out there.
yeah, I guess so, but
It
it's
is.
just a huge thing was going to be a huge thing for Thorsby, but the thing is, there's no point even talking about the tree, because if we can't put the statue there, then why move the tree? Like, it's a big thing.
You can't do it.
Yeah, but
Saying you can't do
You're
it,
not
Sean.
gonna get a finished
we're
product,
not
is
getting a
what I'm
finished.
trying to tell you.
Yeah, until like right before, so then we still would have to wait for the lawyers and stuff, and it would take, it's gonna, it's not in time anyway, so Spirit Authority, that's not happening.
Well, let me propose something. We've talked about the 75th anniversary and the right date. What if, we scheduled your Spirit Authority till the following spring, if this is what it's gonna do, and then you're 100% ready to go?
We do the statue for a year. Well, it's not a year, it was gonna be September, now it's May.
We'll see, I just need to, and it's fine, it might be just someone else working on the project, because I've spent so many hours on this, and even just preparing for today. And it's not, again, not anybody's fault, it's my own fault,
We're
but.
not against this, Sean. We're not
I know,
against it.
I know, but this is, I want this project, because there's been struggles, there's literally been struggles with this park since conception, and I just want it over, and that's my problem, so that's why I may have to get someone else in charge of it, because I'm tired of all the roadblocks every time we,
Obviously, like Matt said, his dad is gonna continue this thing if he has.
Oh, exactly, so it doesn't matter, we'll talk as a.
So I think you just stay the course, and, when, you know,
See what happens.
I think it just, all it takes is probably a letter and a picture, and it's done. It's not, you're not looking at $100,000 worth of, legal cost or anything like that. It's just a matter of fact, getting something in there and getting somebody to say, here it is, you're good to go.
$1,000 for a lawyer is better than $100,000
That's
lawsuit.
my point.
To be sued by Marvell and Disney would be amazing for our town. You know how many people
I
would come to our town? Like, I bet we'd make that money back in like tourism things we could.
Well, no, you wouldn't, because the statue would not be there, and you'd have to pay them for the license.
Well, yeah, Lori brought up all the stuff. Yes, Andrew, you have one question.
I just want to point out that, Western RV and Leduc got sued by Disney for their car and their truck that sits inside their showroom.
Well, Fantasyland got
Yeah.
sued by
Lots of
Disney.
places have, there's
Yeah.
thousands of cases you can
I hope
find.
you hear what you're saying, like, we're not against.
No, and I agree, yes, I know,
But
I'm
mean,
just,
we just got burned for $80,000 on those tanks, and it was just an oversight, right?
And they literally have
This could
people that
be-
sit and Google this stuff, like, that is what they do, and they find it.
I know.
They can pick, this is,
When Cindy and I, your worship, were chamber president and president-elect of the Leduc Chamber, and we were there for quite a long time, we got sued by Getty for an image we had on our website, and the website was up for what, maybe 12 hours, Cindy,
Not
if
even.
that, and we had a letter couriered to us. All we want to do is protect you guys,
No.
that's it, guys.
I just
That's it.
wish it would have been brought up before we started everything, because this isn't new, like, this,
Well,
do you know what I mean? That's my issue, is I've done, yeah.
I indicated to you as soon as I knew it.
Hey, what do you got there?
This is on the wall in the complex.
Yeah,
So whoever gave you guys the right to do that, give us the phone number, we'll talk to them.
What is it? I can't see.
It's a Thorsby Thunder logo with Thor.
there's
With
Thor
Thor.
all, and like that, like
Their
this,
depiction of Thor.
and it's all over Jersey,
So that's what I would
everywhere.
like.
So, but the difference is, I could take that image to an intellectual property lawyer and say, does this impede on their existing copyrights?
And-
But
A
did-
non-existent, non-entity saying, well, we're gonna do something, but I can't tell you what, a lawyer can't verify and say, yes, this does or doesn't impinge on their protected property.
So did that happen?
Who knows?
What I'm
That's
asking.
not somebody back in 1970, right? Like, that's not here and now
Right.
today. We're talking about the issue today.
I think, you know, don't make us the bad guys here. We're just trying to protect everything here. And it may take just as simple as a letter and get it in there and somebody signed off and we're done. It doesn't have to be a long drawn out legal battle and I would not stop doing what you guys are doing right now. I would just keep going with it and,
There's a letter right here from the, University of Pittsburgh on this exact issue, basically saying, the mythical god of Thor, he's a Viking-looking dude with a hammer, no big deal. You can't, however, use him, in another way, use the marvel added to the Norse myth to make their version of Thor. You can't have him with Avenger characters. You can't have him with a girlfriend named Jane Foster. That would make him that character. So basically, it says right here that the Thor Greek god is public domain.
okay. I would suggest, I mean, we can be going back and
Yeah, no,
forth.
we're done.
But just don't run away yet. I suggest, Donna, that you maybe, with permission of the council or anything, is talk to our lawyers again, you have been talking to them, and get something from them.
Yeah, I guess exactly what we need to provide, because when I talked to the guy building it, he
Yeah.
thinks it's a joke. He kind of laughed and he said,
Yeah.
actually, it'd be cool if they sued me, because imagine the publicity coming to Thorsby, and imagine the
Okay.
statues I'd sell.
Okay, I think, like I said, yeah, Corey?
Well, but again, if we accept the donation, they're not suing the creator, they're suing the town of Thorsby.
There you go. So it goes back to the.
Because the town would then own the donation,
Yes.
right? Is that right?
They can't just come back on that, you can't like.
There you go.
But then again, Matt, we wouldn't tear the statue down without talking to your dad.
I appreciate all
You
of
would have to.
No,
your dad's doing.
no, I mean, if it was an okay statue when it went there, and then one day somebody came and said, well, I don't think this has anything to do with Thorsby, let's tear it down. It wouldn't get torn down without talking to your dad first, because he was the donator.
But that's an $80,000 statue, not a $22 or $100 or $200.
It's the point, Shauna, it is the point, it is the principle of the matter. It's respect, either way.
The playground at the complex had a name, was it Cujo?
Irene, you're doing the question.
And it got covered up and changed just because somebody
But
had
that was
the.
before
Yeah.
our time.
It's
Excuse me,
gone
guys.
back, but it went back, right?
Yeah, it was gone.
Guys, right now, hang on, I've asked Irene, okay? Irene has the floor here, go ahead.
In the last council, there was a discussion about donated property, or donated anything. That when that donated gift was in no longer any use, then it goes back to the person that donates it, or you talk to them and ask what to do with it. It was a time when things sort of were going missing, and we wanted to know where they were, and of course it came out that, that they had gone. So we decided, and I think the bylaws were changed, were they not, Corey?
I think you're talking about the asset disposal one, yeah. I don't know if it's by, I think it's just a policy, but yeah.
So if it's a donated gift, and you don't want it any longer?
That if we are going to dispose of a donated item, that instead of throwing it in the dumpster, the donated item should be offered to the person who gave it in the first place, yes.
Because we just put that quad or whatever it was.
All right, so just to close this up,
We're good.
it's
I
not
know,
that
I
bad.
can't do anything, my hands are tied, and that's fine, we'll just wait and see what happens, really.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything I can do at this point, really.
Well, like
Besides,
I say,
Carrie's gonna talk to, and we'll sit down with that.
yeah, exactly, so we'll get on that, and, it's not all bad, it's just,
So, important is to resolve, though I agree with Tracy, that you should just put it off till next spring, if you haven't got them all your ducks in a row, regardless of any ultimatums or anything else from anybody. You just, figure out everything first before you,
yeah, well, we'll come up with a policy, I mean, that's the big thing, I mean, that's the thing, this has been going on, this is just the way it is nowadays, I mean, if you don't have it written in black and white, you just,
Very hard to be a volunteer and,
yeah,
and
exactly.
it's me, and want to anymore, because I'm pretty much done. because every time it's Community of Bloom as the same, so many of our groups are just halted at everything we try to do, and I do get some of the points and stuff like that, but it's just very frustrating being a volunteer now, and it just, it's just disheartening, and we're good. It's been a lot of work, and I wish we would have, before, in the fall, I wish we would have discussed all of this, because this is, it's been,
And I think we'll get there. I think we will get there.
no, that's good.
Good. Thank you. See you, Don.
Your worship, I'll take a resolution, directing us for legal, please.
Okay. Can I make a motion to, go ahead.
I'll make a motion for, CAO Donna to contact our legal to find out about the trademark or whatever it is that we need to know to move forward with Taylor Park.
Okay, all in favor? I got it. All right. Thank you. You're the only one left.
Yeah, because I think I'm the only one that has something left. Talk about fair.
Oh, okay. All right, move on.
So with the spirit of Thorsby, one of the things we talked about was, I suggested we bring back a community fair, and that the 75th anniversary celebration would be the perfect time to do it, I felt. And I have gone through talking with Donna, talking with the chamber, talking with community members, and I guess I just want to know that we're okay to go ahead with it, and that at the last minute there isn't going to be a problem. Sorry, brain fart. Jim has said that we could put it in the same spot that the truck show goes every year. We're prepared to, they need water, power, outhouses. That's something that the chamber's able to take care of. And obviously absorb that until such time as the fair finishes, because we do get a percentage back, so that would cover those things. And I just wanted to make sure that we're good to go.
Is that
Barring the permits, I know that was a thing.
Oh, that's not a problem.
Okay.
So that's your midway, right?
Mhm.
Are you having any animals, like petting stuff or little horsey riding stuff and all that?
I hadn't asked that, but there was no discussion of that, so I can find out about that for
Yeah,
sure.
just
My
let me know.
understanding was concessions
Yeah.
and rides.
And the concessions should have their food permit handling through the carnival, through
Yes.
that organization.
They take care of those permits.
Yep, you can have animals as long as they're with the carnival, it's not a problem. If you're gonna do little horsey rides, stuff going around it, whatever you wanna do. Your permit is not gonna be a problem, and Lone Wolf is fine there with you events there anyway, so, administration will hold that up.
Okay.
The permit's $5,000, but don't let that bother you. I'm just teasing.
Oh,
Yeah, Andrew, you're up first.
I just wanted to let you know that that's actually not Jim's property to offer up.
I am aware of
That
that.
is CP land.
Yeah.
So I went to Art because it was really hard to get an answer. I'm not gonna, everyone you talked to said something different. Because I was also told it was Imperial Oil, that it's, to here it's Imperial, to there it's CP, it's all very
Further down
confusing.
here.
Yeah, Imperial is,
They've now told me they own nothing in Alberta anymore, so I don't, through Devon Properties, who manages that, so that was very
Yeah.
confusing.
yeah, as far as I know, that section is actually owned by CP.
Mhm.
So Lone Wolf using that property is at their own risk as it is.
That's basically why I wanted to talk about that today. Do I need to go and find somebody from CP to have that discussion with? Am I gonna cause problems for Jim by doing so? Because I definitely
Or
don't.
you gotta get
That was largely what I was gonna say is, I mean, if you're doing it there, it's on private property and you don't really need anything from the town at that point, so sure. But if you are using it that it's not the town's land to give, and I agree, it was as far as I know, it's CP's, but you'd have to get their permission. But if there's anything you need from the town, I think we had just a form that you gotta run through the administration, which sounds like you're kind of got all of your ducks, in a row and don't really need anything from the town, so it's not really much for us to.
Okay, I'll seek out
Input
CP
you.
Rail to see. Like I said, my concern is, I guess I won't offer up that we use it for other events. I just don't wanna cause any problems for anybody, right? Because I know Art used to have to pay $270 a year, it wasn't much, but I just don't wanna cause any problem for Jim or the truck show by bringing that to CP. So that's why I wanted to come here before I pursued that.
Do you have a secondary site you're thinking of, that may be on town property, were you thinking of something?
No, because I don't know if it's big enough. They need 400 by 400 feet.
Because we used to hold it in the parking lot at the complex, right?
And my understanding was that was an issue, Kelly. Do you know of any reason that would be?
I actually don't recall.
Like the back parking lot, Shelley? Or no?
Right in front of community hall.
That was like a long, long time ago.
See, that was pre-me, so I was like kind of dumbfounded.
Yeah, I feel like that was when I was
got
like
that.
a child, I feel like.
I lived here, so you weren't, I don't know, but I've only lived here for like 20-some years.
I would have been in high school then,
I know they've been at the, rodeo grounds, but the problem there is the ground is too uneven and they won't go back
Well, that's
there.
what I was wondering about uneven ground.
Right. I did talk briefly to someone at, Arctic Spas about the old, what's the word? Thank you.
Yeah, that field.
And it's a possibility, but the whole thing is we want to leave it downtown, right? Like, that would kind of be the last option, because then you're splitting everybody up between Main Street and Farm Center. Now, Farm Center has, I have to go back and talk to the person now that it's not the Christmas party and he's had a few beers, but they said the fair requires us to have a space for them to put their lodging trailers that is away from the fair so that they can sleep, and they only need 2 outhouses there. So tentatively, that's going to the Farm Center.
And they want to arrive on Monday and start setting up?
Yes, so they would be there from Monday until Sunday. The fair ends at 5, and then they would start breaking it down and taking it out, because they arrive at the new place on Monday the following. Oh, no, ours is the last one of the year.
See, the only permit you'll need from us, sorry, if you're putting it on that lovely grassy spot there that will remain nameless, is shutting down streets. Right. Right? You don't need a permit if it's on private property, well, if it's on property. Excuse me, sorry. If you're on town property, we'll look at a permit, but the permit price isn't onerous.
Okay, Irene, you had a question, and then Cory.
Yeah, when I first came here, they used to have a carnival in the parking lot until about 2007, I think.
Which parking lot was that, Irene? The one at the arena?
I would have been in Halifax, so I would have missed the last.
You know,
Yeah, we put it there too.
I also was told that it was put where Colebrook is now, but Colebrook in that extra lot, right?
That's right, the
But
guy
no.
from Calmar owns that, the guy with the Burger King owns that.
No,
Yeah.
anymore.
Not anymore?
No.
Mine, sorry.
I looked into that this week. They also don't know, I'm not very good with square footage, if that would be big enough beside Colebrook.
There's 2 lots there, yeah, between the two, probably the one is owned by Esso, then there's a second lot that used to be owned by Rami in Calmar,
in
and
Calmar,
they
yeah.
sold it to someone else, who now it looks like they're selling it again, so I don't know who currently
It's up
owns
for
it.
sale, yeah.
Andrew?
But we would know.
I actually have that gentleman's contact number.
Oh, I would love that.
So I will try and get that to you.
Okay, I want to do it the right way, because I feel like
Well, you have to.
the chamber in the town was
You
like
don't wanna have
assholes,
that.
somebody showed up and said, shut her down.
Sheriff showed up halfway
Right?
through.
Yeah.
I guess that was part of my, my thought was, I know that Calmar has been doing their fair with the, whatever, Wild West shows or whatever the last couple of years. And I know that they have some good things and some bad things and some lessons learned that they would probably be happy to share with you, that you might want to talk to Sean or someone over at Calmar, John Carnham's the mayor. I
Yes,
touched
they
on
have
with him
the
the other
name.
day. He has lots of input into things they are doing differently this year that they've learned the hard way, so.
Okay,
When are you planning on doing this?
September 7th, the same as the Thor and all that, which I do feel we'll be able to move ahead. Once I can talk to Sean, I'll let her know that I'll do the letter up, so.
Yeah, if you want, like I say, I can definitely give you Sean or someone's number at Calmar. They have lots of, it's something that's currently on their radar that they're currently working on again for this year, so they have lots of input, I'm sure, if you want to
Perfect, I
talk
would
to them.
appreciate that, yeah. I've never done it before, I'm great at ideas, but I
No,
want to make
there's-
sure I get it
yeah.
followed through, right?
All the details, yeah, it's easy to overlook, so yeah.
Fair enough, yeah. But yeah, Andrew.
I know
And
when they,
I about that number.
I know when they had it on Kohler's there, I'm not gonna say a whole bunch about it, but there was a lot of complaints about those guys. Lots of
Like
complaints.
just the carnies? There's special breed.
Money and games of chance and
I wonder if it was the same company back then.
Yeah. I believe it was the guy.
Wild Rose, yeah, because they were the better of the two I investigated.
I do believe Wild Rose is now a union-based, carnival company.
And
they're
feel
using
like,
that September long weekend, but agreed to extend the one
I
weekend.
feel like after kind of the news that was last year's carnival season, I feel like there's been some strengthening of,
Hugely, so that's why.
the standards, so some of the previous issues probably are caught up with the other issues and probably addressed all of their.
That is part of the reason they have to set up on Monday, because they have to have federal, or not federal, sorry, provincial inspectors come through,
Yeah.
before anything can, no switches can be turned, so.
No, too many incidents, too many
Yeah.
accidents.
I mean, I applaud you for trying to do something different, but like I say, I would check it all that out for sure.
Okay,
We'll help you whatever you need.
awesome, thank you.
Anything else? Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
All right, so, moving on here, that's been a long, 6.2 has been a long one here. What do you need for a motion for those two, 1 and 2? For information only, Donna?
Your worship, we do have the motion, for the Chamber of Commerce, for legal.
Okay, so that's.
And other than that, 6.1 is information, 6.2 is an action,
But it's already been made, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Wait for that one. You can make one for the 6.1 then? No, you don't need it. No. Okay, good. 7.1, asset disposal, patrol vehicle. Donna, please.
Yeah, your worship, this is being brought back from committee of the whole, we discussed it, and basically it's to do with the peace officer vehicle in order for the declaration to be appropriate and our contract CPO to use it. The CAO of Calmar and myself have proposed that we sell the patrol vehicle to Calmar for $1. They take over the insurance and registration of it. And then we have the proper agreement that says that if something happens, that the CPO program is canceled, or we pull out, or whatever, we will buy the car back for $1, and then we can sell it as a proper asset. And we're just looking at council's support on that, or council's advice on that.
Does anybody have any questions or any comments?
Seems like a fairly straightforward solution. I'd move to, by direction to administration to proceed with the discussed disposition of the asset, or disposal of the asset.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. Okay. Moving on here to page here. Lost my agenda here.
The big package.
Too many favors.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't use their devices.
Well, I don't like it because it's an Apple one, that's why I use my phone, because I need Apple
We
stuff.
cost lots of money to print. You don't, you gave it back?
It doesn't work.
I have my phone, I'd rather be on my phone in front of everyone, so.
So you should have went with Apple.
I observed my tablet sensor for 5 years, and I thought it was good Apple stuff.
Yeah, right?
Shit, I don't know.
Counselor John, I want to be on your phone.
Thank you. 7.2.
No, I hate logging into Wi-Fi, so it was a hassle, so.
Yeah, mine's
The
attached.
actual one instead of like the guest ones, the guest ones kind of.
Yeah, we can do the actual.
Okay, that'd be easier, because that's why I use my phone instead.
So 7.2, the FCM annual conference. So, Gary, in your absence here last week, we put your name there, and
I
you're still
totally
willing to
I'd
go?
love to go, yeah, absolutely. I actually want to go, yeah. I don't want to drive by
No, you don't want to.
Calgary, I gotta like find somewhere better to park this time, but otherwise, yeah, I totally want to go.
Okay, you're good to go. I don't think we need to send two unless, I think one person would be suffice. Agree with that? Okay, can I get a motion to, approve, Corey to go to the FCM conference there in Calgary?
I'll make a motion to approve St. Cory there.
All in favor? That is carried. Yes.
Would you consider getting a rental car or see what the cost is on a rental to go down?
I'm just joking, I'm just driving my car. My truck window was all smashed out by a homeless guy when I went to the conference the other week there, so.
Yeah.
So it was just a bad joke, it was just, yeah, it wasn't exactly it.
But sometimes, you know, renting a car is.
I don't actually mind driving my own car, I just, yeah, I ended up having to get a lot of insurance work done after my last trip to Calgary, was all.
Different hotel with stuff in
Stay in a nicer hotel. You should be careful where you,
Is it the Hyatt or something?
It's not, it's literally the building adjacent to where this is.
and you put your coins away that they can't see.
They still have a pair of work boots, so maybe they just really, really need to.
Work boots, they made them worse than you did.
That's fine, I guess.
They sized you up as you walked away. That's the one.
Did they apply for a job with you after they stole it?
I don't know what, I don't know, I'm jobless, this is my only job.
You didn't need them anyway.
All right, so, 7.3, budget update from National Police Federation. Everybody had a look at that the last time, and basically we're just, just another thing that they're looking to do for more money, and it's a lobby group that's doing it. So, Donna, do you want to make a comment on that at all?
Your worship and council, basically, it's the National Police Federation. They represent the RCMP officers, or Federation, sorry. And so they're asking municipalities to funnel the money, for lack of a better word, being colloquial here, to funnel the money that everyone pays for RCM policing in the province away from the sheriffs and back into RCM policing. Because right now the sheriffs are getting it, and it's going into general revenue. So they want the money that we're paying for RCM policing to go to RCM policing, so they can hire more and that sort of thing. So that's what they're asking us.
All right, so just a motion to accept that for information then for right now.
No, your worship, we'll look for council's direction, and if you'd like us to write a letter supporting that on your behalf.
Okay. So is everybody's wish on that?
Well, I think, yes, it's not reasonable for them to bill us money for one thing and use it for another.
Yeah.
If they're saying it's for RCMP staffing, well, where's my police staffing? This isn't saying that the RCMP keep coming us saying they don't have funding and they need us to voluntarily provide contributions because they don't have adequate funding when we're getting billed for it.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes, so if they're saying we're getting billed a lot, it should be going where it's supposed to be going.
Well, and the feds are in a lot of trouble right now because they're diverting money away from First Nations policing, and First Nations are not real happy about it either because it was promised in the budget, and Mr. Trudeau is now taking 2 years to write policy on the fact that First Nations deserve safety and security on their nations before they can have self-administered police services. Yeah, I know, it's bizarre. I was just on a call about that this morning. And so they're getting it from all ends, actually. And if you look at what First Nations put into the province of Alberta, it's $18 billion a year they put into this province in money. And what the province does is takes it in, and then what they do is they dole it back out from First Nations tax and gaming and treasury. So it's kind of a fight around policing right now. So we're happy to write the letter. Are you wanting it from in the resolution? Do you wish it from administration signature, mayor's signature? Do you want to see the letter before it goes out via email so you can proof it, add comments to it?
I think we should see it beforehand, but it should be from mayor and council.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I would move to provide direction to provide a draft email on behalf of mayor and council supporting the NFP submission, or NPF submission.
Very nice. Thank you. All in favor? Carried.
So be it.
Okay, 7.4, proclamations, April to June, going forward with our, we decided to do all these things every quarterly, so does anybody have any issue with those proclamations in there, or if they have any other ones they want to add? Pretty straightforward. Can I get a motion to proclaim those days as noted in the, thank you.
I'll move to approve the proclamation.
Thank you. All in favor? That is carried. 8.1, asset retirement obligation service agreement. Another thing that's gonna cost us a bunch of money.
Yes, it is. Unfortunately, the Public Sector Accounting Board, in which I have nothing to do with, has come up with this standard for public service bodies. So a municipality is a public service body. they already do this in the oil field where you have to report if you have an asset retirement obligation. So if there is an asset, so basically our sewage lagoons, our dump station at the Lions Campground, any building that has asbestos, our lines could have asbestos, like our sewer lines, anything like that has an obligation upon retirement. And it now has to be reported on your financial statement. And it has to be reported as of December 31st, 2023. So we have to get this done ASAP, or we're gonna have a qualified audit, which we don't want. This company that I found promises me they can do it in the time frame we need it done, because they have developed a framework that has been approved by Deloitte & Touche, like all the big accounting firms, and they come in, they look at your assets, they plug it into their little model, and they come up with a number. And then that goes on the financial statements, and then you amortize it over the life of the obligation. So it's just an accounting entry. Unfortunately, it's going to cost us. If we do it over 1 year, it is $17,000. If we do it over 3, it's 27, but they would continue to monitor our assets and then work with us those 3 years too. So it's not like they're just charging us $10,000 worth of interest. There is a relationship built.
Yeah, do you have a question, Andrew?
I just wanted to add that at the Alberta wastewater conference that I was at, this was one of the things that they had brought up. They had government officials there that couldn't, I tried asking questions in regards to how the government is gonna help out in regards to the replacement of this stuff for small municipalities, and they couldn't give me an answer on that either.
That's right. So what are the other communities? What's Kelmar and Warburg and these?
Well, Kelmar, I talked to them, they had to do it. Donna talked to Warburg, I don't really.
Warburg, doesn't think they have to, they say their accounts have got under control.
It's just, and like talking to this guy, he said, yeah, like this is a big problem for all little municipalities because they don't have like the money.
No,
That's right, it's the money.
Like it's money, but it's an obligation we have to do. It's a requirement under the new accounting standards, and if you don't do it, your audit is qualified.
And as a municipality, you can't have a qualified audit though. That's just not an option. You were just, if it was anything other than a municipality, that's what you would have. In a municipality, that's not gonna happen.
That's right.
They will say redo it if it's a qualified audit.
Yeah. Or make
So where are you gonna get the money?
Well, I had money, set aside to go to reserve, which probably now is not going to happen. So, that's, right now, that's where it's coming from. The assessments have come in, I have not plugged the numbers because we just got, an amendment again from them, but, commercial is down, residential is up, DIP is up, but what it's gonna do to the overall budget, because commercial seemed to go down quite a bit, So, but if the budget was as is, like as it was presented in December, I would take that money, because I think I had 25,000 going to reserve, so I would take it, just move it from there to this, and.
Yeah.
It's not like it's really gonna change the number or anything, but just almost, because I found it humorous thinking about it. The public workshop, how does that work out? Because we have an expired lease, technically.
We do. I don't think that would actually, be added in because it's
Well,
not
yeah,
our
but the
asset.
county technically should have to.
Yeah,
include
it's probably
so, yeah.
included in the counties. He
Yeah.
did mention it when we talked about the lease on the building, but we didn't go into like specifics. But yeah.
So you're saying 17,000 for this year, and then next year we have to do it again?
No, once we have the number, like I could do the calculations, but if we ever built something else,
Right.
then that would have to be looked at to see if there's an obligation to retire it.
It's a one-time deal then.
It can be a one-time deal, yeah, or it can be, you can do the 3-year thing. I mean, it's up to you guys. I think I can probably handle the calculation. Because it's literally amortization, like over, it's a formula. So
you recommend the 1 year?
I think right now, yeah, 1 year. I don't, like, there's no plans to, I mean, there's a plan to build one thing maybe. But.
Okay. Any other questions from council? I don't see any other options.
Yeah.
A motion to, direct administration to enter a service agreement with, 360 Engineering.
Well, like, we just are seeing this one thing, like, I don't know, like, is this a good, like, I don't know, this is something new and weird to me that I've never heard of before. Is this a good deal, or we do, have we
Well, I
dealt
talked
with
to
this company?
Kalmar,
Do you
and they
know,
were
like,
between 15 and 20,
like,
so
have we
it's,
ever dealt with this company before or
it's not
anything?
out
Like,
of line. They've dealt with a bunch of small municipalities. They did it all in the oil field. I could have reached out to Kalmar's company, but I don't know if anybody could do it as fast as these guys.
Okay, I see, like, I don't know this company, I don't know if we ever dealt with them.
I
like,
met
is
with
it a good
them, and
price,
then
a bad
Donna,
price? Yeah.
and then Donna and I met with them, and then I did reach out to Kalmar and say, how much did you guys pay?
Okay,
Right? So we're in the ballpark,
Yep.
for sure.
and have reasonable belief that they're actually a valid company that
Yes,
can provide the
yes,
service?
yes.
Yeah.
And you pay after the service is done?
Yeah,
Always,
yeah.
yeah, we don't give out.
Okay. Thank you, John, all in favor? Okay.
Option A, right? I'll go with option A.
All right, moving into bylaws and policy. 9.1, the administration policy ADM 2401, compliance certificate. Ivana, you wanna run us through that?
Yeah, this has been, sorry, Worship, this has been brought back, sorry for being colloquial. This has gone back from committee of the whole, and we haven't, administration hasn't made any changes to it. This is our policy format. The only question I would have for council is on the policy record. Does council wish administration and council signature on these policies? We can add that in, or are you satisfied of date of approval by council and resolution number? Or both?
Great.
I think both.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, we're fine with that. We kind of thought that, so that's fine. We can add signature record lines in here.
Okay, would you like to make a motion to that effect?
Yeah, sure, I'd recommend that we do record of motion as resolution as well as signatures.
Thank you, all in favor? All right. 9.2, bylaw 2024-02, record retention and disposal of municipal documents, second looks. So we've had the first reading on that one. And, if anybody has any discussion there, yep.
I don't, but going back to, I thought we were adding in 8.2 in new business.
I did, but I got the wrong thing from. Okay, let's go back to 8.2, Don. Sorry about that.
staff closing the meeting, it's on the front.
You didn't write it on yours.
Just gonna go ahead and do it anyway.
Okay, thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you very much, council. This is, we want to run these all staff meetings every quarter and a half. And it means we have to shut down the office. It's in without office time, so there's no overtime. But in order to do that, we have to shut down the main office and, of course, advertise it as such. We have chosen for our first meeting, because we're at the point now where we have to start looking at this, April 18th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. We're with proper advertising and proper notice in all our Facebook and web pages. We're asking for council's permission, as we must as administration, to shut an office down this early for a staff meeting.
And this would happen quarterly, right?
No, she said every quarter and a half, so do you mean every 6 months?
Maybe 5 months. Yeah, the way we're moving, and you'll see later, the way we're moving, we have to keep all the staff up to speed, and there's lots of things happening right now, so it's about every 5 months.
For an hour and a half.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Somebody like a motion to go ahead with that?
I'll make the motion that the office closes.
Thank you, all in favor? Carries.
Thank you, Worship. At the organizational meeting, we'll have all planned out this October, and we'll have them all slated.
Thank you, Tracy, for bringing that to my attention. So we'll go back to try to 9.2 again now. So, Donna, if you want to talk about that, I believe we're looking for second and third reading.
We are, Your Worship, on the records management. That's the right one. Records management, 9.2. Just a second here. Yeah, okay, so the administration made a couple of small adjustments, adding 11.2.3 open safety codes permits to distinguish from development permits, which require different retention processes. So we just changed the retention process there, and they'll be retained electronically. And we're adding 11.2.4 closed safety codes permits, and they'll be retained physically for 7 years and then scanned for permanent electronic retention, and then of course destroyed. So we have no other changes. So we're looking for the bylaw to reach second. Am I correct, Madam Clerk? Second and third reading, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Oh, sorry, I totally realized I didn't actually email, and most of it's fine, other than the way it's laid out in Schedule A almost drives me insane. Could we change that?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's driving me nuts every time I look at it. Like, there's a retention format and then a duration of time. They need to almost be in like two different columns there, and having it like lumped in with like the 2Y:D gets very abstract.
So you have 2 years and then destroy. I think you want a time frame, and then.
Like, is it physical retention, digital, or archived, and then for how long? Like, it can be separating it out as a type of retention, and then a duration of time as separate
2 columns?
things, yes. I mean, like, the general intent is fine, but it gets very abstract looking at it.
Okay. Can I send you a draft after I do it and see if I do it right?
We'll send it to council, Madam Clerk.
Sure.
Yeah, just so I know, because I'm a little confused. I think I understand, but I would rather you.
Yeah, because I mean, it'll change maybe your, your A's and E's and W's and whatever as well, maybe a little bit, but I mean, like, the general notion's fine, just separating out the two factors, right?
We have had discussion about that, Councillor Corey, and I kind of been sort of outvoted, but now thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I keep thinking of this being petty, but every time I go back to look, I'm like, hey, let's try
I know,
to insane.
I
I have to
forget
like
it.
stop and really like evaluate.
Yeah, oh, thank you, too chocolate.
It is, I would agree, it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
just trying to figure out how to.
do it easily.
Yeah.
And if you've noticed too, that we put a lot more, we made sure there was more definitions there,
Yes, I
but we
did
can,
notice that.
we can certainly change those. Yeah, we can send us a copy, absolutely. We're happy to send that to council via email.
I know exactly what you.
Yeah, yeah. And please feel free to mark it up if we send it to you based on resolution. Feel free to mark it up. You're not gonna hurt our feelings any, because a lot of municipalities, this is what they do. They put a glossary up top and a whole bunch of figures and letters. And I gotta be honest with you, and this has nothing to do with old Jesse's hard work. I've just been desperately trying to figure out how to fix this. Because
Because it is a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, you're trying to put like a lot of detail in like 4 letters and numbers that just like very abstract, right? Like, I totally get why it's that way, it just,
Yeah. We'll do it on chart size so that you'll.
But I get what it is.
Yeah.
Like, there was, it was.
Any other comments on there? Can I get a motion for second reading of bylaw 2024-2?
Yeah, with the suggested changes to Schedule A, I'd move second reading of bylaw 2024-02.
Thank you, all in favor? And can I get a third reading for the bylaw 2024 with the changes? Tracy, thank you, all in favor? That is carried. And that's all we need for that. Do we have to repeal on this one?
We do,
Yeah.
Your Worship, yes.
Yeah, so I'd move to pass second reading of bylaw, what number was there, bylaw 2022-05? Or no, that's not it,
2005-08.
2005-08.
Yep. Okay, all in favor? Can I get a motion for third reading? John, all in favor? Carried.
Thank you very much, Your Worship and Council. It's a big bylaw, and we appreciate the amount of time you took to review it and to help us with it.
It'd be nice to get all them books out of the hallway there. All that paperwork, back to the normal office.
You will, council will have a lovely registry to pass at the regular in April.
Of destroy.
Of destroy.
Okay.
And then we can burn, so be prepared, you will love it.
And there'll be a big bonfire.
I don't know what all that ink is made out of, I'm not bringing smoke either.
Okay, moving on to the 9.3, bylaw 2024-04, fees and services.
Your Worship, as you noticed, Schedule C will be provided to council and discussed in camera on this bylaw. And it's just fees and services that we'll be discussing, and thank you for Councillor Tracy for pointing out that it's missing, and I'm glad we could solve the mystery, so it's good to have Councillor Tracy's email. I didn't get back to you today, I was a little busy, so sorry. But, yeah, so we are at, missing something here, Madam Clerk, we are at second, third reading on this one too, am I right? First reading, fair enough, thank you.
We just redid this one, didn't we?
Last year, but
Yeah.
there's some things, can I speak to what we changed in it?
Yes.
I think that was all we changed, wasn't it?
The contractor definitions.
They're all highlighted.
Okay. So mostly we wanted to add fees because, this time of year is kind of frustrating because we send out tax notices every May and we send out utility bills every month. And because it's tax time, everybody needs that to do their taxes. So they come in and they want reprints of their bills, they want reprints of their tax notices, and that takes our time, and it costs money, like it costs money for paper, it costs money for ink in the printer, it costs, and like there's been a lot of requests this year, like I think even more than normal.
Crazy.
Everybody must be working for themselves these days, I don't know. But, so we've added that fee. We've added for photocopies, I know we had said before that we'll just send them, so we will, but if somebody like comes here and they really just want a photocopy, we'll charge them 50 cents plus tax. A document fee, so some people are phoning and requesting a printout of their year of utility bills, so that's a document or a document fee. If they require, no, if they just want a summary, like a statement of their account, that's a document. Or if they want, like, sometimes realtors will call and they don't want a tax certificate, but they just want to know how much the property taxes were, right? Like, that's all, it all takes time out of our day, that's over and above. Plus, if the person whose house they're selling kept their documents, and then a scanning and email charge, Canada Post carrier charge. So if we have to mail something to somebody, we're going to charge them for it. And then we just added the non-e-bill utility bills in there because we're looking at going to e-billing. So instead of having to come back again and change this, we're just putting it in there now. So if you, when we go to e-billing, if you want a paper copy of your bill, it's going to cost you $2.10 on your bill. Yeah, correct.
I was gonna say, one of the things I was originally gonna say was the e-billing, because then I noticed people want reprints, they don't need reprints because they just go check their email or whatever.
Right.
But the other thing I was gonna say is, like, all these like 50-cent fees and $2 fees and our stuff makes a lot of money. Should we not have like a minimum fee for like service provided, like at a certain point?
Yeah.
Seriously, someone's gonna take up 20 minutes of someone's time that effectively with benefits gets remunerated at $40 an hour. Well, that's a lot more than the 50 cents for a piece of paper.
Yeah, like,
How did Jessie wishes she made $40?
No, some percent in overall like benefits and everything, so it's $30 an hour, and then you throw on 30% on top of it, and you're at $40 an hour.
No, I agree, we did benchmark against other communities, what they charged, that
Yeah, it's sort of like a minimum fee of some sort. Seems like seriously to bill someone 50 cents is not worth the time.
I truly don't think
it's more to bill them the 50 cents.
for a photocopy anyway, but
I don't have a problem with the minimum charge.
I don't either.
Being this is a bylaw, let's do a little more benchmark and get back, and we'll bring it back at Cal.
Like, I was wondering how you guys came up with 53 cents.
Well, 50 cents plus GST.
Okay, 50 cents, okay.
And would it be prudent to put on the bottom of the utility bills, especially that, to retain these for your records, or there will be a charge?
Yeah, and we're telling people this year,
Yeah.
instead of phoning,
You know
too.
what? I bet I know why too. It's because people are doing their office expense claims.
Yeah.
That's why, that's 100% why, and they don't keep them.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating.
Well, and the email thing is a really good idea.
Yeah.
So whether you just highlight that thought or just, because people aren't going to be looking for a new sentence, because they probably don't read half of it anyway, but.
We're not highlighting it, because we
Something.
can't highlight it. I'm not going through 450 bills and highlighting it.
Just a pleasantry. Retain these for your
I
records.
mean, they will have
Interesting color though, you can just have it digitally highlighted.
Yeah, well, I can see if we can do it, it's if GP will do it.
Fair enough, they are printed in color though, right, so
They're just the logo's color.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I assumed it was just printed from a blank sheet, but it might be like that letterhead you're saying?
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's just, the logo is in color.
But
So it's on
it
prints out of the printer
Yeah,
itself.
it prints the logo on, it's not already printed on, right?
Yeah. So if I can highlight it, I will, I just have to go in and figure out how to do it.
So that would save quite a bit of money too.
What, e-billing?
Yeah.
Oh,
We figure about
postage
$10.
alone,
Postage
it'll be $5,000.
Yeah, we looked at that before, and it's kind of moved by the wayside, but yeah, it's like, it's stupid, the amount of times it's posted.
Yeah, and so I've talked to Heather and Kelmar, and I'm gonna talk to her again in May, because she was in the middle of audit, we're in the middle of audit. And so once all that's done, then her and I will go meet, and I'll say like, what did you guys do, because they already do it, so, yeah.
And we'd appreciate, council, we added more definitions, so please go through them, make sure they make sense. Before Councilor Corey and Councilor Tracy catch it, we do have a T there with nothing beside it, please disregard or we'll throw something in, just getting ahead of you.
Which page are you
Not
on?
telling you. 91. We just have a rodent T sitting there, so.
Just waiting for something.
Well, Tona, we could put a definition of Tona maybe, I don't know.
I just need to keep you guys on your
That's
toes.
right. So we really appreciate your thoughts on the definitions because there's some legislative bent to them, but they also have to make sense. So if we can task you with that, that'd be awesome.
I don't know, have we ever talked about it before? I know I've thought about it before, I don't know if we actually ever discussed it before, but, like similar, like the province and the federal government both have a definitions law that has it's just a, creative bylaw, just definitions. You still can have specific definitions related to a specific bylaw included, but in lack of a definition being included, there is still some reference point. Have we ever considered doing that?
It's almost like a bylaw glossary, actually. I know where you're
Essentially, but yeah,
going.
you just pass it via bylaw, and any bylaw that is of the municipalities, if not otherwise defined, it's subject to that definition.
We could do that, actually. We can do a bylaw to that effect even, and that way it's sitting there. That way we have a general registry of bylaws, and anything pertinent to that particular bylaw is what you're saying would go in the definition.
Well, you have like a separate bylaw that is just, the definition that Thorsby defines words is the bylaw, and then if there's things that are missed or we thought were obvious but are otherwise, argued on, it seems like it might be worth it.
No, I get it, and I think it's a great idea, because that way we can, a lot of times you cut down a definition section. What we're creating is an index bylaw as well.
Essentially, yes, because like, some of them are very, 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 very specific to a specific bylaw, but some of these are very generic, that would apply to other bylaws as well, so.
We could even, if you wanted to, we could even, group it in the, index bylaw into land use definitions, this definition, we could do that.
Yeah, instead of alphabetically do it as use.
Usage.
Yeah.
Yep, I love it. I love it.
I obviously don't relate to this directly, but
No,
it seems like there's a lot of definitions, it seems like that might be a easier solution sometimes.
Administration will take any solution that makes sense.
Well, sometimes they don't, but that one I think might.
But we probably fight you on it a little bit, but then no, that's brilliant, thank you so much, appreciate your support.
All right, so if anybody's got any other comments in there, bring them back to the Cal meeting on April 9th, and then we will, put it in, and then we'll vote on it again for second and third on the 23rd. So in the meantime, can I get the first reading for bylaw 2024-04, fees and services? In favor? Carried. And then we'll need a first reading to repeal that as well, Donna. The one, 22.
I know we talked about that before, just waiting and doing the repeal one all at the end, once you pass the new one.
That's the one we're waiting on. I get the other one.
Yeah, because you gotta have something in place there. Oh, that's fine.
Yes, by default, it was 3 readings once, yeah.
Makes sense.
I was just confused.
We all are. Okay. Moving on, 11.1, motion tractor Q1. Who wants to talk about that?
I can, your worship,
Basically,
we have still in progress motions, doesn't mean we haven't done anything with them, but they're in progress. Motion 23-12-359, waiting a response from the Citgo Holdings with respect to land lease. They have picked up their package on Monday and asking some questions of council with respect to negotiations. We responded to them and they are taking that away, so we'll hear from them. Motion 24-114 and is now pending due to grant status, and that is the, which one, Jeff?
That was the Taylor Park.
Oh, the Taylor Park,
So I
okay.
guess it's changed tonight, but.
Right, okay, so we'll just leave it sit. Motion 240115 is, the 75th anniversary, so we solved that tonight, so that just keeps us going. And 240223, which one is that one, Jess? There's no meat to this one.
That was, yeah, the.
Oh, Citizens on Patrol, okay.
I still haven't received any.
After Easter, once the Easter egg hunt is done and all that, we'll talk to Mercedes, Jess,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So those are the, I won't call them outstanding ones, I'll call them in progress.
All right, thank you. I need a motion to accept the 2024 motion tractor. Thank you, all in favor? Carried. 11.2, variance report.
So the variance report for February was provided, and, again, income is low, just because our major income comes in May. And then our expenses are actually, like, if you take expenses and divide them by 12, we're actually under, so. It doesn't look pretty when you look at it, but it's the time of year.
Great.
Yeah.
Are we, like, going through, is there anything that you're seeing where we're gonna have to make, like, significant changes to the interim budget based on things that are,
That have happened
Yeah.
already,
Yeah.
other than, furnaces that we need for this building?
yeah?
That's pretty, what are you looking at me like that for?
Have you plugged the assessments in, Tracy?
Sorry.
Have you plugged the assessments in, Cindy?
No, I just said I had not.
Oh, okay.
No, as far as the, expenditures and stuff, is there anything that's, like, say, like, okay, like, obviously, the thing that just came up there,
Yeah, that.
but yeah, like,
Yeah,
other
and-
glaring changes
No,
that you were
and then
seeing
what
yet?
did you say, sewage lift?
Sewage lift station.
What is the sewage lift?
Still have to get it cleared out and a diver in there to.
Yeah, but I had that in the budget already.
Yeah, same things that have deviated from what was budgeted.
The only other thing that I have to add, because I completely missed it, was the rest of the meters.
Okay.
But it's only 20,000 and it'll come from a grant, so it doesn't affect
Yeah, so
property taxes.
And the furnaces will come from a grant too. I submitted to Fortis today for 7,800 for the furnaces.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were up at 10.
11, I think they were.
11,800.
Okay, so,
11,800, yeah.
yeah, so we're better than half anyway.
Yeah, and which is capital, but I want
Yeah.
it funded from operating, I don't want
A lot
to
easier,
grant
yeah.
for.
Yeah.
I certainly am a little tired of calculating kilowatt hours, how much carbon tax we're gonna save, what will be our output emissions versus the furnaces now to what they're going to be.
Totally have spreadsheets I could have done all that.
Yeah,
Honestly, like, I could have probably 20 minutes.
You know, you're supposed to offer that to me, Councilor, I'm not supposed to beg for it.
I have one question. Does it look like we're gonna have to dip into our
Your operating lines? I don't think so. I didn't look at the bank this week, to be honest. We had a lot of payments just come out, because all our debenture payments just came out.
Yeah, and all for money.
And the police one for $54,000.
The police one for 54 just went through, so, I think it's gonna be nip and tuck, but I'm hoping we don't have to.
It'll be very briefly, even if.
It'll be super
Come
brief.
June, things change, and.
Yeah, like, coming in.
Hopefully interest rates are still high come, July and August.
That's the first time that I can recall, so that'd be great. All right, any other questions? Well, get a motion to accept the variance report.
Motion to the variance
All in favor? Carried. Correspondence, I'll just go, so 12.1, Leduc Regional Housing, they're having a fundraiser there, so, I don't think, I guess if anybody wants to go, they're going on their own, I guess.
I'm already going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
for the foundation, but yeah, it'll be a good thing if anyone wants to go. There's gonna be a few different things going on, but, speakers, but.
That's on April 18th in the morning, so I can't make it for that one anyhow. And then Leduc Hub, 12.2, got a letter that they're closing, which everybody kind of knew that was going to happen. They're giving the dates there as of March 28th, the hub will end daytime programming and close during the day. As of April 1st, they'll open for overnight shelter from 8:30 to 10:30, and as of May the 1st, they will be closed to the public.
Your worship, the police were there a week and a half ago, clearing everybody out from the front. They started an encampment in the front.
Yeah.
It's ongoing with the RCMP and peace officers.
Yeah, I drive by there like almost, well, when I'm not here, I'm there. And it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
And there's a daycare right there, like,
There's a couple right there.
Yeah.
and a dance studio and.
County firm.
It's not a good spot for it.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Nowhere is a good spot.
No.
Nobody wants homelessness, it's just the way it is.
But it's not even homelessness, it's that the businesses can't even leave their doors unlocked.
Well, I know, they lock them all now.
Yeah, they're all locked during the day, like you have to, even at the co-work, like where I work out of, everybody has to ring a doorbell to get in, like you cannot, the doors aren't unlocked.
Seems sad. I don't know, it's needed, I don't know where these people are gonna go, they're not just gonna disappear, but I
No,
think
they're
that
not
location is not a great spot.
It wasn't a
so-
good location.
Yeah, right from the
It
get-go,
needed to be
it was
somewhere different,
problematic,
I agree.
When it first came into being, I gotta be careful what I say, because I'm president of the SDAB and the Duke, but when it first came into being, it was quite contentious.
Yeah.
The spot was, the council chambers were full, the hearing room was full, it was a 5-hour hearing, and, it was very, very, very contentious, because the hub used to be, right by, Smitty's,
Mhm.
and then it moved over there, and they thought it was gonna be a good thing to partner with the church, and so on and so forth, and, I mean, we can only rule based on land use and, or land by land municipal development plan. So, you know, you rule, and, the decision is open to the public, so I'm not telling tales out of school, and they had to come every year
Mhm.
and talk to us about it, right? And it just, there was a lot of for and against. It was a really divided hearing, very contentious hearing, so, we'll see what they do.
Right.
That being said, I think it's probably worth pointing out, just for anyone who's, you know, interested, is their funding is running out from provincial grants as well, though it's not just because of the location, like their funding does expire and their lease does expire. It's not like the city isn't trying to work with them or anything, just for clarity's sake.
They're trying to find a solution.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
they are.
their arrangement with provincial, you know, governments and landlords is also, you know, involved. So it's not just their location or whatever else, there's some other things at play.
All right, any other? And then I got a couple letters from, Minister McIver. The first one dealing with the, delinquent oil and gas property tax payments again. They've extended the credit, and, they keep working to fix that up. So that's just for information, not really much to do with us. And then the, 12.4, another letter from, Mr. McIver regarding the, assessment model review engagement announcement. Anything about that one, Donna, that, you have to really look at?
Not to my knowledge, Cindy, did anything flag for you on that one?
No.
No.
All right, so there's just two, information, so if I can get a motion to accept, 12.14 for correspondence for information.
I'll make a motion for information.
All in favor? Carried. All right, at this point here, anybody from the public has a comment? Mr. Blair, yeah, go ahead.
I would just like to, compliment the general works on their snow removal this year, because to me it was excellent. It was just very good. My back alley was excellent.
Thank you, I'll pass that on to the team.
Thank you very much. Anything? Irene, you're all talked out?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Just one thing, with all this planning, and everything, with all the fairs and all the other things, anniversary celebrations and all that, before you go and start planning on all this stuff for next year's budget, maybe you better, pull yourselves back a little bit, because we don't need any more tax increases. It has to be zero next year regardless.
Absolutely, yeah. Go ahead, Cindy, you wanna?
Looking for cake?
Yeah, the 75th anniversary, that really, it was already, it's the same amount that's been in the budget for public relations for the,
Oh, yeah, Lon.
So there's no-
When you're doing next year's budget, there's already another tax increase this year. So next year, just hold the line.
Well, first, tax increase or
So like, I understand that you heard a lot of people talking about spending a lot of money. Those are groups that are not the town of Thorsby.
Yeah.
They're just trying to work in conjunction with,
Yeah.
anything they're talking about spending money on isn't necessarily us
Not coming
spending
from us.
money on. It's not our money, it's whatever they're
Yeah.
doing. We're just trying to work with
Thanks
community
for
groups.
clearing that up.
Yeah, like what
I
they're,
don't need to pay anymore.
yeah, no, what they're
Our
doing is
municipal
not.
budget was what, like $200 for a cake? Like, it, you know, like. it-
No, it'll be a little bit more.
No, but you know, like, but it's like, it was very, 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 very modest, anything we're planning, like.
Very good
yeah,
point, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead,
And when they reference the $80,000 value of the Thor statue, that is a gift.
It's a donation,
Yeah.
yeah, I understood that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
as far as our budget goes, there's nothing coming out of there this year or next year. We've looked at possibly, you know, if we'd have got some grant money, but they don't really recognize 75 years.
No,
They recognize
they're not
100.
getting help from any other government, for sure.
No, they recognize 100,
100, but not
but not 75, so, very good.
No, it's just a point because you know where we are already, like with the,
Absolutely.
the
So,
debt the town has and everything else, and everybody's paying such high taxes here.
yeah,
We need to hold the line somewhere.
and I think we have, like, and that's, my comment there about the, operating loan for the first time since ever, we may not have to dip into it. You know, not that we're cash rich, but I mean, we have held the line, and our tax increase this year is gonna be modest, less than
Less than
the
everywhere
cost
else.
of living. City of Edmonton, the
That's
six,
what I hate to see us comparing ourselves to everybody else, because we're already up there.
I agree. You know, we've got some good news on the horizon, I'm hoping, water-wise, and I can't say a whole bunch more about it, but we've really been working
No,
on
I've
it.
been talking about that before.
So,
Someday it may happen.
yeah,
Well, no, and it's, unfortunately, those things take time, right? Like, we can't just turn the tap and the water starts flowing.
no.
It's gonna be,
But I mean, you've seen what's happening in other municipalities, you see what happens in Edmonton, they had 6.85%, and now they want more, even though that's what they're even talking about a 1% income tax charge to everybody, I don't know how they can do that, but,
They're a chartered city.
yeah, so, you know, I
Yeah, they have
think,
different rules, yeah.
yeah, I think we've done well, and I appreciate your comment, thank you very much. Anything else? No? Okay, motion, take a quick, 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? Carried.
Waiting for it.
Running, walking to purpose.